The men who once swore to die for him were now hiding rifles under their beds, waiting for the right moment to shoot him in the back. Captain Ibrahim Traoré did not come from a rich family. He was a soldier, a simple man, known for being quiet but sharp. He came from the west of Burkina Faso, and many people saw him as honest. He did not talk much, but when he spoke, others listened. In 2022, the country was breaking apart. Terrorists were attacking villages. Children were dying. Soldiers were being sent to fight with little food or support. The people were angry. The army was tired. And the leaders in power were not fixing anything. Traoré was in his early 30s. Still young. But he saw clearly what many did not. He believed the country needed strong leadership. Someone who would not sit in air-conditioned rooms while the country burned. With a group of young officers, he made a decision. They would take control. It was dangerous. If they failed, they would be killed. But if they succeeded, maybe things would change. On September 30, 2022, Traoré led a coup. It was fast and quiet. The old leader, Paul-Henri Damiba, was removed. Some people feared another coup. But many others cheered. They danced in the streets. A soldier for the people, they said. Traoré stood before the cameras, wearing his red beret. He said simple things. The country would not be sold, the people would be protected, and the army would fight with honor. His words gave people hope. But hope always brings enemies. In the early days, things felt fresh. Traoré worked closely with his team. They met every day. They planned missions. They sent support to the north. He ate with soldiers. Slept little. Worked hard. But behind his back, some officers were not happy. Some wanted more power. Some missed the old leadership. Others were paid by outside forces, foreign men in suits who hated what Traoré stood for. He had refused to bow to France. He had spoken against corruption. That made him a threat. One of his closest aides was Captain Souleymane. They had trained together. Fought together. Traoré had trusted him like a brother. But one day, something changed. Souleymane began to act strange. He would miss meetings. He started drinking late into the night. One soldier whispered that Souleymane had taken a secret meeting with an old general, a man loyal to Damiba. At first, Traoré did not believe it. He still saw Souleymane as a friend. But when a loyal informant said, "There's a plan to poison you," Traoré listened. He gave no sign of worry. He invited Souleymane to dinner the next day. The table was set with rice, fish, and a bottle of wine. Traoré watched the wine closely. He did not drink. Souleymane smiled, but his hands shook. He could not look Traoré in the eyes. That night, after dinner, soldiers searched Souleymane's room. They found a letter. It had instructions from a foreign contact. It said, "Make it clean. Make it look like illness." The next morning, Traoré had Souleymane arrested. The man shouted lies. Said he was being set up. But it was too late. The poison had been found. The letter was real. Some soldiers grew quiet. If one of Traoré's oldest friends could turn on him, who else could? The weeks that followed were tense. Traoré kept working. He spoke less. Smiled less. He slept with one eye open. The army was still fighting hard in the north. Many soldiers died. The enemy, jihadist groups, grew bold. But Traoré refused to back down. He traveled to the front lines. He met with villagers. He stood in burnt-out homes and listened to mothers who had lost their children. One day, as he returned from a mission, a young officer named Lieutenant Bako greeted him. Bako had seemed loyal. He had fought well. Traoré had even recommended him for promotion. But loyalty was thin these days. That night, during a routine patrol, Bako opened fire. No warning. His shots were aimed at Traoré's car. One bodyguard was hit. The car swerved. Traoré ducked just in time. Bako tried to run but was caught within the hour. When asked why, Bako said nothing. Later, he told a guard, "He's not the man they said he was. He's changing too much." Traoré didn't speak about it. But that night, He sat alone in the war room. He looked at the map of Burkina Faso. So many red dots, villages under attack. The north was bleeding. He whispered to himself, "We can't lose now." More men began to fear him, but not because he was cruel. Because he was strong. And strong men make weak men nervous. A general named Doumbia, older and once powerful, began spreading rumors. He said Traoré had sold the country to outsiders. He told soldiers, "He says he's fighting for the people, but look around. What has changed?" Some listened. Some did not. One night, a trusted guard came to Traoré and said, "Sir, there's a plan to remove you quietly. They want to do it before the next public speech." Traoré nodded. He knew this would happen. He tightened his circle. He rotated guards. He moved meetings to new places. But the danger stayed. Even when he stood to speak in public, cheered by crowds, he felt the eyes. Not the eyes of the people, but the ones who watched from rooftops, behind dark glasses, with loaded weapons. He began each speech the same way: "I do not serve myself. I serve Burkina Faso." The people cheered. But in his heart, he wondered, will I see tomorrow? Despite the fear, Traoré did not stop. He pushed for new security forces. He gave more power to local fighters, called VDPs, who protected their own villages. He sent drones to the north. He told soldiers, "Do not wait for orders. Fight to protect the people." Many loved him for this. They saw results. Terrorist groups were pushed back in some areas. Roads reopened. Aid reached more places. But others grew angry. Foreign countries, who had once held influence, saw Traoré as a rebel. He had turned to other allies, including Russia. He had removed French soldiers. He had spoken against international control. He became a symbol of African pride, but also a target. Inside the camp, whispers grew louder. "He's leading us into isolation," some said. "We should remove him before he ruins us." Traoré knew all this. But he stayed calm. One night, a soldier asked him, "Aren't you afraid?" Traoré looked at him and said, "I am. But fear is not a reason to stop." By mid-2023, many of the traitors had been removed. But new ones always appeared. Traoré learned to watch for signs. A pause in a man's speech. A handshake that lasted too long. A car that followed too closely. He ate alone often. He took no unnecessary risks. He kept his circle small. Some said he was paranoid. But he knew better. It's not paranoia if they are truly after you. Still, he never stopped working. He still walked into crowds. He still hugged old women and lifted babies in villages that had been attacked. He still talked to young soldiers and told them, "This country is yours. Defend it." Every step he took could have been his last. But he walked anyway. Captain Ibrahim Traoré is still in power. He is still young. Still fighting. He has not promised peace. He has promised to try. He has not said he is perfect. He only says he will never sell his people. The risks are still there. The betrayals still come. But the people, in markets and farms, still whisper, "That man walks through fire and does not burn." Captain Ibrahim Traoré sat alone in his office, staring at a map of Africa. Burkina Faso was small compared to the giants, Nigeria, Algeria, France across the sea. But it sat in the middle of everything. And what happened there could shake the whole region. When he took power, many thought he would remain close to France, like the leaders before him. France had helped control Burkina Faso for many years. They had soldiers on the ground, bases, business, eyes and ears everywhere. But Traoré saw something else. He saw that French support had not stopped the terror. Villages still burned. Soldiers still died. The people were still poor. So he made a decision. A big one. He would cut ties with France. It started with words. Traoré stood in front of cameras and said, "We must take full control of our land, our skies, and our future. No one will fight for us. We must fight for ourselves." To some, it was pride. To others, it was a warning. In early 2023, he asked all French troops to leave Burkina Faso. No more military bases. No more French flags. Many cheered. But behind closed doors, some generals whispered, "This is dangerous. France will not forget this." Soon, French aid was reduced. Certain deals were cancelled. And the attacks in the north grew worse. Some said it was a coincidence. Others believed someone was trying to punish him. But Traoré stood firm. "We were not free before," he told his men. "Now we are." Without France, he needed new friends. He turned east. Russia, through the Wagner Group, was growing its influence in Africa. In Mali, they had already stepped in after the French left. They promised support, weapons, and training, with fewer demands. Traoré saw this and listened. He didn't say much in public, but soon, Russian advisors were seen in Ouagadougou. Military planes landed quietly at night. New supplies arrived. It was not an open marriage, but it was a quiet handshake. Some in his camp welcomed the change. "Russia gives us tools to fight," one officer said. "France gave us only words." But others worried. "Are we just trading one master for another?" one old general asked. Traoré didn't answer. But he made sure no single ally had full control. He spoke with Turkey, Iran, even China. He opened small doors, not big ones. He accepted help, but not chains. Still, danger followed. After cutting ties with France and moving closer to Russia, more whispers came. One night, an advisor told him, "There are people plotting again. This time, from outside." Traoré nodded. He knew. He received reports of strange meetings in nearby countries. Former officials were seen in hotels, speaking with foreign diplomats. Some of these men had once held power in Burkina Faso. Now, they were trying to get it back, with help from across the border. One group offered money to certain officers to betray Traoré. Another offered safe passage and a new life in exile, if he agreed to step down quietly. He refused all of it. One evening, his phone rang. It was a foreign leader. The man said, politely, "Perhaps you are taking the country in the wrong direction." Traoré smiled and replied, "Maybe. But it is our direction." Then he hung up. In mid-2023, Traoré made a bold move. He met with the leaders of Mali and Niger. Both had also removed their French-backed governments. Both were under threat. Like Traoré, they believed Africa should rise on its own. Together, they formed an alliance. It was not just words. They called it the Alliance of Sahel States, AES. They promised to defend one another, help each other fight terrorism, and work as brothers, not puppets. Many people in the region cheered. They called it the beginning of a new era. But others felt fear. Some said the West would try to destroy this alliance before it grew too strong. And indeed, within weeks, pressure increased. International groups froze funding. Threats were made. Foreign media painted them as military dictators. Traoré told his team, "Let them talk. We are not here for approval. We are here for our people." Despite his strong words, Traoré remained careful. He did not put all his hope in one country. He made small deals with the Gulf states. He spoke to countries in Asia. He improved ties with neighbors like Togo and Guinea. Each handshake came with a quiet promise: "We will trade. We will protect each other." But Burkina Faso belongs to no one. Inside his own camp, some officers feared the new path. One colonel tried to contact a Western embassy without approval. Another was caught sending sensitive military data abroad. Traoré had them both removed quietly. The message was clear: loyalty must lie with the people, not with outsiders. But even as he strengthened the country's outside ties, he stayed alert. Foreign money could turn a friend into a traitor overnight. So he told his men, use their tools. Take their weapons. Learn their ways. But trust only yourselves. Today, Burkina Faso stands apart. It is not in the hands of France. It is not owned by Russia. It walks a dangerous path, alone, but proud. And the world watches every step. Ibrahim Traoré is still young. He knows mistakes can cost him everything. One wrong deal. One false friend. One slip. But he believes in something bigger than safety. He believes in freedom. He believes in building a future where Burkina Faso stands tall, not because it follows others, but because it stands on its own. He has made powerful friends. He has made dangerous enemies. But above all, he has made a choice, to walk through fire, even if it means walking alone.